if you're joining me on Instagram, I'm live now on YouTube. Can you please jump onto the YouTube link and you'll see me there. Oh, look, you can see my espresso machine in the background. Oh, there it is. Oh, there's my baby. She's been keeping me afloat during this time of pandemia. So yeah, you can sign off of Instagram now. You can go to the link in the bio for the YouTube link where we're going to go live there. And yeah, we'll do some more yoga tricks. We'll learn some more secret yoga powers. Hey, Battle Kiss, how are ya? Hello. Although I think I like verse, but Pedal Kiss works. Do you like my espresso machine? Okay. I'm shutting down. I think I can shut down Instagram. Yeah. Okay. Hey, it's Pat Richards. How are you? Good morning, Regina. Am I making espresso in my basement? Yeah, because my daughter's still asleep. So I bring it down into the basement so that she can't hear me grind anything. Also, my daughter has taken up a liking to making espresso. It's pretty awesome. She makes it. And if I make it, she flips out. She gets really angry. So she'll be, no, Daddy, you can't do it. No, I want to make it. So I let her make it, which is great. Yes, I have videos of that. I just don't share it for some reason. Probably because her hair is a disaster. I'm a little bit embarrassed. But she's my little barista. So if it is amazing. So if I'm making an espresso down here, she can't hear it. If she hears it and wakes up, she's going to have a fit. And there'll be mayhem in the house. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any questions before we start? I'm wondering if I should wait another minute or two for people to join. But it's 9:07, so I don't want to take the class too late either. So we're going to take, and I'll wait for questions too, but I'm just going to talk about what the plan is for today. The plan is for some more backbending work, but I like to call backbends front stretch. Because we have this natural tendency of collapsing forward. Like even now as I'm sitting here, I'm hunching a bit. We all do this, it's normal. A lot of yoga practice most of the time is spent in a forward bend of some sort, whether it's a hip opener or something. And then there's minimal attention given to the front of the body. We sit a lot, so there's a front contraction right there, and it needs to be stretched out. The reason why I call it front stretch instead of back bend is because there needs to be an engagement on the front side of the body when you're bending backwards. So let's do the reverse first. Supposing you're in a forward bend, just in a comfortable forward bend. Now start to engage the ideas of a back bend in that forward bend, and you notice it comes deeper because you're engaging two lines of muscle, one on the front line and one on the back line of the body. And those two lines will help straighten you out into that pose, if that makes any sense. I'll kind of show you what I mean if I can. Okay. So this is what I mean. If I'm in a forward bend like this and I'm totally collapsed, what if I engage the back line of the body? I pretend I'm doing a back bend in the upper back. It all of a sudden became a deeper pose. With a bit more intelligence and awareness, because both front and back lines of the body were working simultaneously. So similarly, that's what we want to do in a back bend, only I would say it's much more necessary in the back bend, because people will dump too much excess weight in the lumbar vertebrae and develop back pain that's really hard to undo. So that's where we're going with that. To protect your lower back especially, you have to engage your bandhas. There's no way around this. There's no alternative. You have to engage your bandha two-step. So if I can, often, let me just tilt the camera a bit, or tilt the screen just a touch there. Often when we have the arms up, if we're doing a warrior pose, I say chop the arms forward. Or for Navasana, I say chop the arms down. And the intention of that, it's not just, to engage the tricep. It's because the line of the tricep connects to the core. So when you chop the arms down, this lifts up, if that makes any sense. So think of chopping your arms forward and lifting your pelvic floor. Belly in, lift your pelvic floor. Bandha 1 and 2. Same thing here. Chop the arms down, belly in 1 and 2. When you're if you were in Urdhva Dhanurasana, you would still want to find that same action of chopping the arms forward and then engage here, because otherwise you're just putting pure pressure there. If you can engage the front line, if you can lift that pelvic floor, that tail sticking out no longer exists. There's no excess pressure there. Even if you're doing something like chaturanga, and you don't have to do it yet, but just if you want to watch, it's fine. Here, if I'm in chaturanga, I still want to find the action of dragging the arms back, like I would in Navasana, right? It's the same action. So the arms are going in this direction. And as I pull the arms back, lift the pelvic floor towards the arms. So now I'm really contracting the front as I lower down. And you hold that contraction the whole time. If you want to try that, go ahead. You can start off in plank with your hands here, maybe on all fours or you're on your knees, and that's fine. But think of drawing the arms back and pulling the pelvic floor up. Just see how that happens. And then try to hold the pelvic floor lifting as you bend the elbows back. So the shoulders and elbows are going back, but my pelvic floor is lifting up towards my rib cage. Try that a couple times. And this does come into play with our back bends or front stretches. Okay. So before I start the class, I just want to check in and see, how did that go for everyone? Did you try it? Does it work? Does it not work? Are you finding anything new? I'm assuming I still have Pat, Julie, and Regina. Small class today. Are you guys at least finding that action out? Like, there should be a moment of holy shit. Like that has to kick in. I hope that doesn't get bleeped out. Okay. Yeah. You haven't practiced in a while. Don't worry if you haven't practiced in a while. Okay. Yeah. As long as you're noticing some difference, that's fine. You're finding some action, and it really doesn't matter. Your body's memory is very powerful. It goes deep. Like, you'll remember things from your teen years. You probably can't do the action the same way. You'll probably do it with a bit more pain or more discomfort or more awareness because you've had a series of injuries. But muscle memory is very powerful. So please don't worry if you haven't practiced. It might feel more difficult, but the actual physical outcome is still going to be there. So don't sweat that too much. Okay, let's get started then. As long as you're feeling that. So one of the cues for today is chop the arms down or chop the arms forward. As you do that, lift the pelvic floor. And the intention is to hold this while you engage in back bend, which is, we want to happen more. It's really a straightening of the thoracic vertebrae, eventually rotation of the shoulders. And we'll go from there. Okay. So let's come to the front. Press your feet down, tail, breathe. So even if you're missing half of the actions today, you're breathing the whole time. As you lift the pelvic floor and drop the tail, lengthen the sternum up to the ceiling, but draw the shoulder blades down the back. So we have this action happening in the upper chest. And as your sternum lifts up, shoulder blades draw down, lengthen the crown of the head up so that you draw the chin in towards your neck, and you lengthen the back of the neck. Keep breathing. If you want to find your shoulder blades, you can even take cactus arms for a second. Hold the shoulder blades in place. Don't let them move. Just bring your arms back down. And that's where you want your shoulder blades to be. And we'll begin. Inhale. Bring your arms up. Gaze towards your thumbs. Exhale and fold. Relax your lower back. Hands beside the feet. Inhale, lengthen your head up. Hold your belly in. Exhale, push into your hand, step or jump back. You can hold plank. Now arms back, lift your pelvic floor as you lower. Keep lifting your pelvic floor as you lift up into upward dog. It might not be as deep today, that's okay. Moving into downward dog, and we're going to hold here for 5 breaths. It's 1. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. Try to make the arms and legs a little bit straighter. They don't have to be straight, you just work them there. 2, lift your pelvic floor or lift your rib cage up, shift it back towards the hips so you send more weight to the heels. Keep breathing. 3, you really want to press your index fingers down into the floor and then rotate the armpits in towards each other. 4, 5, as you exhale, gaze forward. Inhale, bend your knees, step or hop forward. Lengthen your head up, hold the belly in. Exhale and fold, relax your lower back, heavy rib cage. Inhale, push into your feet, come all the way up, reach away from strong legs. Exhale, Samasthiti. Let's do that again. Inhale, your arms up, lifting your pelvic floor the whole time. Exhale and fold, relaxing your lower back. Inhale, lengthen your head up, hold the belly in. Exhale again, push into your hand, step or jump back. You can hold plank, lower to chaturanga, arms back, lifting your pelvic floor. Inhale, still pulling your tail forward, arms pull back. Exhale, lift your rib cage up, shift it back into downward dog. Hold here and breathe. 1, long arms and legs. Keep thinking of length in your limbs as much as you can. Length and more length. 2, heels down, big toes forward, index fingers forward to rotate your armpits in. 3, curl the tail towards the chest, holding your belly in. You're still lifting the pelvic floor and breathing deeply. 4, 5, as you exhale, gaze forward. Inhale, bend the knees, step or hop, lengthen your head up, hold the belly in. Exhale, fold, relax your lower back, heavy rib cage. Inhale, push into your feet, come all the way up, reach. And exhale, relax. Bring your hands back down. Surya Namaskar B, inhale, bend the knees. Reach your arms up, keep your core contained here. Exhale and fold, relax your lower back. Inhale, lengthening your head up, hold the belly in. Exhale, push into your hands, step or jump back. Again, you can hold plank, resist the arms back, lifting your pelvic floor. Inhale, still resisting the arms back, pull your tail forward. Exhale, lead with your belly to downward dog. Turn the left foot into a 45-degree angle, step your right foot forward. Stay low, use your hands on the pelvis to help you come up. Tilt your pelvis, not your lower back. Pelvic floor lifting, take your time, pelvic floor lifting. Inhale, bring your arms up for 1 breath, hands higher, tail lower. Exhale, bring the hands down. And straighten your front leg just for fun. That's a little trick I like to do. And then lower down. Inhaling, upward dog. Arms back, tail forward. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog. Other side, turn right, step left. Stay low, use your hands on the hips. Tilt from your pelvis, not your lower back, so your lower back is straight. Bend the front knee, tilt your pelvis, strong back leg. Pelvic floor lifting up. Now reach your hands higher. Exhale, bring the hands down. If you want to work that front leg straight, it's kind of fun to do. And then drag it back. Pull the arms back, lift your pelvic floor as you lower. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog. Hold there. 1, slow down the inhale. Control the exhale. 2, long arms and legs. Still keep thinking of length. Rotate your armpits in again. 3, heels down, big toes forward. Sounding your breath is your priority. 4, 5, as you exhale, gaze forward. Inhale, bend your knees, step or hop. Lengthen your head up, hold the belly in. Exhale and fold, relax your lower back, heavy rib cage. Inhale, bend your knees, tail forward, arms up. Lifting your pelvic floor, exhale. Samasthiti. 1 more with some variations. Inhale, bend your knees, tail forward, arms up. Exhale and fold, relax your lower back. Inhale, lengthen head up. Exhale, push into your hand, step or jump back. Drag the arms back, pull your tail forward. Inhaling upward dog. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog. This time we're just going to step the right foot forward, but stand the left toes. Keep the left hand down. If you want, bring the right hand on the hip. Push your right hip down. So what we don't want is the hips to twist out yet. We're not going to do that yet. We're just going to keep the hips in place and just twist from the low waist. Maybe reach your right arm up. Hold there. That's 1. 2, gaze up towards your hand. Hold the belly in. Lift your pelvic floor. 3, your left arm drags back and you lengthen your chest forward. 4 and 5, come down to your back knee. I'm going to pivot on the outer edge of my front foot and I'm going to swing my back leg to about 90 degrees. This might look a bit weird to you, and maybe I'll square towards the front of the screen. And I'm just going to stretch out my hips this way. So, as I flex my front foot, my shin's going to be about parallel to the front of the mat. And my legs are about 90 degrees. And then I draw my right hip back, curl the left hip forward. So I'm getting a nice hip opener here. Hold here. 1, if you can, flex both feet. 2, and don't collapse down. Flex the feet and then twist. 3, so as you twist, you're stretching your outer hip flexors. 4 and 5. Okay. Working your way back up, push into your hands. Drag your right foot back. Drag the arms back, lift your hips forward. Inhale, upward dog. I hope you got that. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog, other side. Inhale, step the left foot forward, stay on the right toes. So the tendency or the collapse is to lift this left hip. That's why we want to bring that hand down and encourage the hip to stay down. Right hand beside your left foot. Keep the hip where it is. Lengthen your chest away from the hip. Try to keep that hip down and twist. You could stay here, maybe lift your arm up. 1, lengthen away from your hips. 2, your right arm is pulling back and you're lifting your pelvic floor. It's the same action we did before. 3, you want your belly button or lower ribs to twist up to the ceiling more. 4 and 5. Okay, I'm going to come down on my back knee. I'm going to come onto the outer edge of my front foot and swing my back leg back. So the shins are making a T shape. And then I twist even some more now. I keep this left foot flexed. So I'm stretching the outer hip rotators. That's 1. Breathe. 2. 3. 4. I love hip opening. And 5, if you haven't noticed. Okay, bring your hands back into center. Push into your hands. Step your right foot back. Drag the arms back. Lift your pelvic floor as you lower down. Inhaling upward dog. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog. Hold here and breathe. 5 breaths. 1. Long arms, long legs, long spine, long breath. Over and over. 2. Again, slow down the inhales. Control your exhales. 3. Rotate your armpits in again. 4. And 5, as you exhale, gaze forward. Inhale, bend your knees. Step or hop forward. Lengthen your head up. Exhale and fold. Relax your lower back. Inhale, bend your knees. Tail forward, arms up. Keep lifting that pelvic floor. Exhale, Samastitihi. Separate your feet hip distance, Parangushtasana. Inhale, reach down, catch your big toes. Totally fine to bend your knees. Exhale and fold. Allow your rib cage to be heavy. If you want, you can bring the hands in the rib cage just to add the weight. And you'll notice your lower back will release more. Hold there. 1, try to lean your hips forward, press the feet down, work your legs straighter. 2, try to find your bandha two-step. Belly in, lift your pelvic floor, lengthen your rib cage down. 3, even though you're in a forward bend, think of a back bend in your upper back. Notice how the pose changes. 4, bending the elbows, shoulder blades go down your back. And 5, inhale, lengthen your head up. Exhale, stay there. Next inhale, we'll step the palms to the soles of the feet. Again, it's fine to bend your knees. Totally fine. And exhale, fold. 1, so again, weight forward. Press the feet into the hands. Work your legs straighter. 2, find your bandha two-step. Belly and lift your pelvic floor. Lengthen your rib cage down.
3, bending elbows, shoulder blades go away from the ears. You're still lifting the pelvic floor. 4, think of chopping your arms back as you lift your pelvic floor. And 5, inhale, lengthen your head up. Exhale, work your way back up into standing Samasthiti. I'm going to step my left foot back, but it's okay to step your right foot back, just so I can face the camera. Left toes are turned in, right foot is facing the front of the mat. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, shift the hips towards the back. Reach your right hand forward and let the hand come down on the shin, the ankle, or the foot. It doesn't matter. You can stay here with the hand and the hip. Maybe bring your left arm up. Hold there. 1, strong back leg. Find your bandhas. Belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 2, hold the pelvic floor in place. Now lengthen away from the hips. Chest back and hips forward. 3, if you can't, push your top hand forward, twist your chest up. So the arms are always connecting to the core. 4, whether you're twisting or back bending. And 5, exhale, look down, and inhale, come up. Pivot the feet towards the left. Shift the hips towards the right. Reach your left hand forward. Hand can come down the shin, the ankle, or the foot. Right hand can stay on your hip. We're just working a twist. You can bend your front knee. I'm still your friend. It doesn't matter. Maybe reach your right arm up. And that's 1. Strong back leg, bandha 2-step. Belly and lift your pelvic floor. 2, so as you keep your bandhas engaged, lengthen your chest to the left. Chest back, hips forward. 3, push your top arm forward. Resist the bottom hand back. And notice how the arms connect to the core. 4, breathe, or none of this works. 5, exhale, look down. Inhale, come up, pivot the feet to the front. Bring the right hand on the hip and left arm up. If you want, you can shorten your stance. It'll be a bit easier. Exhale, pull your right hip back, lengthen your left arm forward. It's okay if your left hand comes down the inside edge, or if your hand is on a book or a block, that's fine. Maybe on top of the foot or outside the foot. The right hand can stay on the hip. Maybe lengthen away from the hips towards the front. Reach your right arm up. 1, try to draw your right hip back and left hip forward. 2, lift your pelvic floor. Now lengthen your chest towards the front more. 3, pushing your top hand forward. Resist the bottom hand back so you twist up more. 4, broaden your collarbones. And 5, exhale, look down. Inhale, coming up, turn the feet towards the back of the mat. Left hand on the hip, right hand up. Exhale, pull your left hip back, reach your right hand forward. Hand can come down the inside edge of the foot on top or outside edge. One side is always different. That's normal. Your left hand could stay on the hip. Maybe reach it up. It's up to you. Breathe. 1. Again, draw your left hip back, curl the right hip forward. 2, lift your pelvic floor. Now lengthen towards the front. 3, push your top hand forward, resist the bottom hand as you lengthen and twist. 4, maybe broaden the collarbones. 5, exhale, look down. Inhale, coming up. We'll take a wider stance this time. Right toes facing the front of the mat, curl your back toes inwards. Try to keep your hips where they are. So we're not going to tilt them either way. We're just going to keep them straight as you bend the right knee. So the purpose of that is to get the stretch right into the adductors. We have a tendency of compensating so we don't stretch them as deeply. So just keep the hips where they are, and all you do is bend that right knee. Now you can bring your right elbow to the knee, left arm above your left ear. Maybe bring the right hand down the outside edge of the foot. I'm your friend. It doesn't matter where you go. Breathe. That's 1. Open up the knees towards the wall behind you so you stretch across the front of your pelvis. 2, the pinky side of your left hand chops down. Now twist your chest up against the strength of the arm. 3, so as this arm chops down, lift your pelvic floor. It's all connected. 4, and if you don't find that I'm still your friend, really curl your back toes inwards. The tendency is to let it splay out. Turn it in. Keep your hips straight. Don't move the hips. Just bend the left knee. And it should feel deeper. Maybe you bring the left elbow on the knee, right arm above your right ear. Or left hand down outside the foot. But you want to work on revolving your rib cage up. Hold. 1. Resist the leg against the arm against the leg. Open up the knees to the wall behind you. 2, you're trying to chop the top arm down. Lift your pelvic floor. Now twist up. 3, so you're finding the relationship between chopping your arm down and lifting your pelvic floor. These work together. 4. And 5, inhale, coming up, we'll just curl the big toes inwards. Do you see what I mean, though? We're doing a lot of forward bends here. Hands on your hips, inhale, chest up, and exhale, fold. That's why I like to do some front stretches. Inhale, lengthening your head up. And exhale, fold, crown the head towards the floor. Hold here. 1, lean your hips forward, press your feet down, work the legs longer. 2, so again, you're lifting your pelvic floor, belly and lift your pelvic floor. Now have your rib cage. It's okay to bring the hands in the ribs. 3, otherwise keep your hands down, squeeze your elbows in, bend your elbows more, use the arm strength. 4, 5, inhale your head up. Exhale, stay there, and we'll just interlace the fingers behind your back. Go ahead, take an inhale, and on your next inhale, exhale, just fold forward. Maybe you can drop your hands down. If you want to roll out your shoulders, go ahead. 1, we're just rolling out and stretching out your rotator cuff. 2, hips forward, press into your feet, straighter legs. 3, relaxing the shoulders down to the ears. It's fine to roll them out. 4, and 5, inhale, working your way back up. And exhale, come back to the front. Samasthiti. I'm just facing the camera so you can see me. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, left hand on the hip. Inhale your right knee, or catch your big toe, or lift the leg straight up. If you can, exhale and fold chin to your shin. Hold there. 1, point the foot, if you can, if your leg is straight. 2, tighten your grip, bend your elbow, bring your right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. 3, try to drop your right hip. It's going to help you lift the foot higher. 4, and 5, inhale your head up. Exhale the leg or the knee out to the side. Look towards your left. 1, keep driving weight down into your left foot. 2, as you drive the weight down, lift your pelvic floor. 3, maybe you can bend your elbow if your leg is straight. 4, and 5, inhale, bring the leg into center, and exhale, fold chin to your shin. Inhale, release, and hold. 1, so we're still strongly contracting the front hip flexor. That's why we're going to stretch out in a second. 2, point the foot, flex the big toe. 3, draw the right leg into the hip socket against the strength of your left leg. 4, and 5, kick your leg back, catch it with your right hand. Now this is a pose. Maybe you bring your left arm up, maybe you fold, it doesn't matter. 1, you're already doing a fantastic counter stretch here on the front of the hip flexor. 2, deepen your breath. Try to soften this area. 3, even though you're kicking the foot back, try to lift your pelvic floor. And now it comes a bit more intense. 4, breathe. And 5, exhale, release. Other side. One side's always going to be different. Accept that as normal. Right hand on the hip, inhale, bring up your left knee or big toe or leg straight up. And if you can, go ahead, exhale, fold chin to your shin. 1, balance first, lifting your pelvic floor, belly in. 2, if you can, bend your left elbow, left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. Find that squaring action. 3, try to drop your left hip. It'll bring the foot higher. 4, and 5, inhale your head up. Exhale the leg or the knee out to the side. Gaze towards the right. This is where the weight goes. 1, so we're driving weight down into that right foot over and over. 2, as you drive the weight down, lift your pelvic floor, belly in. 3, and as you hold this strength here, maybe you can bend your left elbow more. 4, maybe roll your heel forward. 5, inhale your leg back into center for 1 breath. Exhale and fold chin to your shin. Inhale, release. Bring the hands on your hips and hold. 1, try to draw the leg into the hip socket against the strength of your right leg. 2, right leg draws down. Lift your pelvic floor. Pull the left leg in. 3, hold your belly and grow tall. 4, and 5, kick your leg back. Catch it with your left hand. And you could stay here. Maybe lift up your right hand. Maybe fold forward a bit. And that's 1. 2, maybe kick the foot into the hand. Lead the foot up, but don't go too deep. 3, so as you kick the foot back, lift your pelvic floor, belly in, and it comes a bit more intense. 4, and 5, inhale, coming up, and exhale, release, shake it out. We'll come back to the front, and we'll do a Surya Namaskar into our warrior poses. We're going to skip our hip openers because we're going to do pigeon poses. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale and fold, relax your lower back. Inhale, lengthen your head up. Exhale, push into your hands, step or jump back. Again, you can hold plank. Resist your arms back, pull your rib cage forward. Inhaling upward dog, tail forward, arms back. Exhale, downward dog. Turn left, step right. Stay low. Bend your knees, bring the hands on your pelvis. Inhale, tilt your pelvis up, and take your time coming up. Bend the front knee, tilt your pelvis up. Pelvic floor lifting up, bend the front knee again. Strong back leg, lift the pelvic floor, bend the front knee. Try to find square. and then start to reach your arms up and hold. 1, so keep working your right hip back and left hip forward. It's in a circular motion. 2, even though you're squaring the hips, lift your pelvic floor, belly in. Now lift your rib cage. 3, find the relationship between chopping your arms forward and lifting your pelvic floor. 4, and 5, strain your right leg, pivot the feet towards the left. You can bring the hands back onto the hips, keep the pelvis up as you bend the left knee. Pelvis up, lift, bend your front knee. Pelvis up, bend your front knee. And then draw your left hip back, right hip forward. Go ahead, bring your arms up. And that's 1. Lifting your pelvic floor. Belly and lift the pelvic floor, bend the front knee. 2, left hip back, right hip forward. Find a circular motion as you keep lifting your pelvic floor. 3, and find the relationship between chopping your arms forward, lifting your pelvic floor up. 4, and 5, inhale, open up your palms. Warrior 2 position, hold here. 1, so again, you want your pelvis to be straight. Don't lean forward, pull the weight back. 2, belly in, lift your pelvic floor. Shoulder blades go down the back. 3, if you want, go ahead, turn your palms up to face the ceiling. Keep the shoulder blades where they are, just bring the hands down now. 4, and 5, strain your left leg. Turn the feet towards the front, exhale. Bend your right knee, hold here. 1, opening up the knees towards the wall behind you. 2, belly and lift your pelvic floor, bend the front knee more. 3, go ahead and find your shoulder blades. Turn the palms up, shoulder blades stay, bring your palms down. 4, and 5, exhale, bring the hands down. And from here, we'll just step our right foot back. Drag the arms back, lift your pelvic floor forward. It's a different chaturanga. Inhaling upward dog, at least it should be. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog, pigeon lunges. Inhale, bring the right knee towards your right hand. Come all the way onto your right hip. Really flex your right foot. So you don't want to compromise this foot at all. If you start to point the foot, the whole outer line of the leg becomes overstretched. So we have to protect it. And you want to keep the stretch in an active line of energy. It's a part of an eccentric contraction. So keep that right leg, right foot flexed. Keep your right hip down. Maybe you can roll onto the top of your left foot as you lower down. Maybe you can curl the back toes under and lift your back knee up. That becomes really intense. Hold here. 1, and if you want, I like to use the hand to rotate my left leg in towards my right thigh. 2, and favor the left ribs and the belly button towards the right thigh. 3, I keep the right hip grounded as I rotate the left side in towards it. 4, lifting the pelvic floor and belly in. 5, inhale coming up. We'll swing the left leg around and bring the left foot on top of the right knee. And if you're not flexible, it's fine to keep the hands behind you if that left knee is lifting, or hug it with your right arm, left hand beside you, and you push it down with your chest. And if you're super flexible, no one's going to hate you because you're spiritually advanced. You just come and bring that knee all the way down. Bring your hands forward. Hold there. 1, flex both feet, so you have to protect and activate the outer lines of the leg. That's important. 2, lift your pelvic floor, belly in. Now lengthen. 3, again, find the action of pushing your hands down, dragging them back, lift the pelvic floor. Notice how it's deeper. 4, and 5, inhale coming up, and we'll just release the right leg back, bring the left foot in front into a pigeon lunge. Foot flex, it's okay if your back leg is bent and you just work from there. Maybe you can rotate onto the top of the right foot. That's a pose. Maybe you curl the back toes under, lift your foot up. Hold. 1, so you have a strong flex of the left foot. Left hip stays down. 2, and if you want, you can bring the right hand around to encourage the right leg to twist towards the left. 3, rib cage and belly button are twisting towards my left as I keep the left hip grounded. It comes deeper. 4, lift your pelvic floor, belly in, bandha stay engaged the whole time. I know it's hard. And 5, inhale coming up. Swing your right leg around and bring the right foot on top of the left knee. And again, it's okay if that knee is lifted and you just bring the hands behind you. Maybe left arm around the right knee, right hand beside you as you push your shin down. Maybe it does come all the way down. And maybe you come forward into a forward bend hold. 1, wherever you are, strongly flexing both feet to protect the outer line of the leg. 2, belly in, lift your pelvic floor. Now lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. 3, if your hands are down, go ahead and chop your hands down, rotate the elbows in, pull your chest forward. 4, breathe, or none of this is going to work. And 5, inhale your head up. Exhale, release the pose, and we'll take a vinyasa. Cross the shins, push the hand, step or jump back and lower. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog. Gaze forward, bend the knees, coming forward into a seated position. Keep the legs straight. Hands beside your hips, fingertips point forward. You go tall, breathe. 1, legs are active. They draw into the hip sockets, and you go tall against the energy of the leg. 2, belly in, lift your pelvic floor. Now your core strength is going to help you go taller. 3, push the hands to the floor, shoulder blades go down the back, and forward into the chest. 4, 5, inhale your arms up. And next, we're going to lengthen your rib cage forward. It's okay to pause, lengthen forward again. It's okay to pause, lengthen forward again. Belly in, lift your pelvic floor, lengthen. Go ahead and grab your feet. If you're not that flexible, bend your knees. I'm still your friend. Who cares? Breathe. 1, so you still want the action of drawing your thighs back. It's okay to bring the hands on your hips. Tilt your pelvis forward. 2, so thighs draw back, tilt your pelvis forward, lengthen the rib cage forward. 3, bend your elbows, shoulders back, chest forward. Keep your gaze up. 4. And 5, inhale your head up. And exhale, you can release the hands behind you, 6 inches, fingertips pointing forward. Roll your shoulders forward, lift your chest up. Inhale, push your heels down, lift your hips up, drop your head back and breathe. 1, belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 2, shoulders forward, chest up. It's okay to bend your knees. 3, I'm still your friend. Breathe. We're not losing karmic points here. 4. And 5, and lower down. And you can take a break there, vinyasa. Inhale, pick up. Exhale, step or jump back and lower. Inhaling, upward dog, full breath. It's okay if you're off my count. Full exhales, downward dog. It matters that you're taking full breaths. Gaze forward, bend the knees, come forward to a seated position. We're going to do just one set of hip openers, and then we're going to get into our back bends. So keep your left leg straight, lift up your right ankle. And now we just roll the leg around in the hip socket and try to relax all the tendons around the upper leg, around the hip. You can hold here or interlace the fingers around the front of the shin. Roll your right hip forward, grow tall, breathe. 1, keep finding strength in your left leg, belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 2, you still want to find the action of pushing your elbows down, propelling your chest up. 3, flex your right foot, heel higher, shin closer to the chest. Right hip is moving towards your left foot more. 4, so this leg eventually goes behind your head. And 5, and we're just going to release that leg and switch sides. Keep your right leg straight, bend the left leg back. And again, we're just going to roll it out and try to think of relaxing all the tendons around the upper leg and the hip socket. Okay, they don't have to be tight anymore. They're allowed to relax. You can stay here or interlace the fingers around the front of the shin. Roll your left hip forward towards your right foot. Grow tall. Breathe. 1, keep the strength in your right leg. Grow tall with the energy of that leg. 2, belly and lift your pelvic floor. Keep growing tall. Try to draw the elbows down as you grow tall. Find that relationship again. 3, flex your left foot. Bring the heel higher and shin closer to your chest. Left hip is moving towards your right foot. 4, imagine this leg behind your head because that's where it goes eventually. And 5, and we're just going to release. And if you want, go ahead, shake it out. And we'll take Baddha Konasana. Bring the feet in, knees up to the side. It's okay if your knees are up. I'm your friend. It's okay if the knees are down. Now from here, you can massage the inner thighs with your elbows, but think of lengthening your knees out to the side. This is the point. So we're stretching the adductors. And as you lengthen the knees out, you can hinge your pelvis forward. If you want to bring the hands in the pelvis, go ahead. Hinge it forward. It's kind of tricky here. Hold there. 1, your primary action is to hold your belly and lift your pelvic floor and knees out to the side. 2, now as you do that, you can draw the elbows back and lengthen your chest forward as a secondary action. 3, but you have to breathe, otherwise you'll pass out. 4, 5, inhale, lengthen your head up, make 2 fists, put them behind your heels, push your heels forward, round your back. Hold there. 1, push your heels forward and try to tuck the tail towards your head. 2, It's almost as if you're trying to lift your feet up. 3, keep lengthening your knees out to the side, rounding your back. Tuck the tail towards your head again. 4. And 5. Inhale, work your way back up. Use your hands to straighten or lift your knees up and straighten your legs out 90 degrees. And you can stay here. If you're not that flexible, just hinge your pelvis forward. You could use your hands to help you hinge. So you're using the hands to encourage that pelvis to hinge forward. And you can stay here, maybe hands on your shins or your feet. Maybe you bring the chin to the floor. You just do what you can and breathe. 1, find your tension point, stay there and breathe. You don't have to go deeper, you have to breathe deeper. 2, draw your belly back, lift your pelvic floor up, and now lengthen. 3, if you can, draw the shoulders away from your ears and breathe into your upper chest. 4. 5, inhale your head up. Exhale, stay there. Next inhale, lift up your hands, lean back, lift up your legs, catch your feet and hold. It's okay if you're bending your knees. 1, if you're bending your knees, try to work the heels up, and you don't have to come straight today. It's okay. 2, if your legs are straight, point the feet, drop your head back. 3, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 4. And 5, and cross your shins. Well done. You can take a break there or vinyasa. Inhale, pick up. Exhale, step or jump back into chaturanga. Arms back, pelvis lifting. Inhaling, upward dog. Tail moving forward. Exhale, lead with your belly to downward dog. Gaze forward, bend the knees. We're going to come onto our shins just to start some of our work. So we'll start off in Virasana. So your shins are about hip distance. If you need a book or 2 and you want to sit on that, go ahead. If it's bringing any discomfort in the legs or in the ankles or in the knees, sit on a book or 2 or 3. Doesn't matter. You sit on as many books as you need to so that you're comfortable in the pose. You can even sit on the heels, that's fine. As eventually you sink the hips down between your feet. Hands come on in front of the knees. We'll just grow tall here and breathe. 1, try to push the feet down, draw your tail forward. 2, so really it's feet down, belly in, and then you lift the pelvic floor. 3, and you chop the arms down and back to help you lift your chest. Keep lifting the pelvic floor though. 4. And 5. Okay, we'll bring the hands back behind you. So if you want, you can bring the hands back and just lift up the hips. So you're stretching now across the front. But you want to keep that front line engaged. So belly in, lifting your pelvic floor. Keep lifting your pelvic floor as you bring your hips up. You can hold here or lower down to your elbows and grab your ankles or your heels. Drop your head back and hold. 1, push the feet down, draw your tail forward. 2, shoulders forward, chest up. 3, keep pushing your feet down to bring your hips higher. 4. And 5, and lowering down. Well done. Slowly work your way back up. We'll just take a child's pose to counter. So if there's any stickiness in the lower back, we stretch it out here. And that's 1. Try to draw the tail down towards the feet. 2, so notice if you're lifting your pelvic floor, you're getting a deeper stretch in your lower back. 3. 4. And 5, inhale, coming back up. Bring the hands in front of you, step your feet back. And again, you can stay in plank. Try to resist the arms back, lift your pelvic floor as you lower down. Inhaling, upward dog. Same actions apply. Exhaling, downward dog. We're going to come onto our stomachs. Inhale, come into plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. And then inhale, coming onto your belly. So, we're going to do locust pose. Bring the hands beside you, palms are facing the ceiling. Don't think of relax and draw the tail down. So inhale, lengthen your chin forward, lengthen your feet back, hold. 1, you don't have to go high up. 2, belly in, try to draw the tail down to the floor. 3, so it's like lifting your pelvic floor. It's going to help you draw your tail down. Feet still back, chest forward. 4, don't come down. And 5, we're just going to bring the hands by the ribs, squeeze the elbows back and hold. 1, so my hands draw back as my pelvis lifts up, just like chaturanga. 2, feet lengthen back, head lengthens forward. 3, if I had a block between my thighs, I would roll it up towards the ceiling. 4, and 5, and lower down. You can stay here if you want, or we can move into vinyasa, inhaling into upward dog. Exhale, lead with your belly to downward dog. Inhale, coming into plank. Exhale, lowering chaturanga, and then coming back onto your belly. We're going to do Bekasana on one side at a time. So I'll start with the right leg. My left arm's going to come in front. I'm going to bend the right leg back and just catch it with my right hand. Now that's a pose. That's already an intense work across the front of the right hip flexor. So it's a nice front stretch. You can try to bring the heel down towards your hip, and as you do that, you pivot the fingers along the top of the foot so the fingers line up with the toes. Hold here. 1, try to draw your right hip down and lift your right knee up. 2, breathe, lifting your pelvic floor. 3, Bandha two-step, belly and lift your pelvic floor. Lower the hips, lift the knee up again. 4. And 5, and release your foot back. Other side. Right hand in front. I can't do this on my left side as well because my shoulder injury is just, lasting forever. I need my physiotherapist. So again, you could just catch the foot like this. I'm going to take it like this. And again, if you can pivot the hands along the top of the foot, go ahead. 1, so try to draw your left hip down. Try to lift your left knee up. It doesn't lift. 2, try to drive the heel down. Lift your belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 3, so as you lift the pelvic floor, again, drop your left hip down and left knee up. 4. And 5, and release your foot back. And again, you can just stay here and wait or take a vinyasa. Inhaling into upward dog, lift your pelvis forward, tail forward, arms back, exhale, downward dog. And we're going to come back onto our stomachs. Inhale back into plank, exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale onto your belly for dhanurasana, upward bow pose, or just regular bow pose. So we're just going to bend the legs, catch the feet. And even if you stay here, that's a nice front stretch already. You're already stretching across the front of the hip flexor. You want to keep the pelvic floor lifting. Pull your tail down to the floor. Inhale, kick your feet up. Hold there. 1, try to bring your feet together more. It's harder. 2, kick your feet back to the back edge of the wall behind you. 3, tail down, shoulders forward, chest up. 4. And 5, and lower down. And again, you can just stay here and take a break or go ahead vinyasa. Inhale straight up into upward dog. Arms back, lifting your pelvic floor. Exhale, lead with your belly, downward dog. Inhale back into plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. And then coming onto your belly. We're going to do Parshva Dhanurasana. So it's bow pose on either side. And we're going to roll to the right. So here's how it works. We come up into Dhanurasana for 1 breath. Roll onto the right side, 5 breaths. Roll onto the left side, 5 breaths. Come back into the center, 5 breaths. And then take a break there. Okay, so it can be intense. You have to take deep inhales. So from here, bend your knees, grab your feet, bring your feet together. Inhale, kick your feet back, hold. 1, pull your tail down, chest forward. 2, roll your shoulders forward, chest up. 3, try to kick the feet back towards the wall behind you. 4. And 5, roll onto your right side. I held that for 5. I should have done that for 1. That's 1. Try to bring your knees closer together. It's more intense. 2, then kick the feet back towards the back edge of the wall behind you. 3, belly in, lift your pelvic floor. Bandha two-step is engaged. Look up to the ceiling. 4. And 5, inhale back up. 1 breath. Exhale, roll into your left. Gaze the ceiling. 1. You want to lift the right knee, but try to draw it down. It's tempting to lift it up. 2, kick the feet back. Pull your tail forward. 3, Bandha two-step. Belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 4. And 5. Inhale. We're just going to come up here for 1 breath because we already did 5. And exhale, release. Okay. And if you want to take a vinyasa, go ahead. If you want to take a break, go ahead from here. Inhale, upward dog. Actually, we need a vinyasa. Exhale, downward dog. If you want, you could just take child's pose for a couple breaths. We'll come onto the shins. Go ahead and take child's just to stretch out your lower back if you're finding any tension there. Draw your tail down, belly and lift your pelvic floor. All those actions are going to help you stretch out your lower back without crunching the front. Okay. So we already did a pose on our shins. It was a reclining virasana. That's a nice front stretch. And you're welcome to do that at any time in lieu of anything that I demonstrate. Otherwise, come up onto your shins. Press your feet down. And as you push the feet down, draw your tail forward, lifting up your pelvic floor. So we're taking a lot of the curve out of the lower back. You want your butt to be relaxed because if it clenches, then the pelvis is going to seize. We want the pelvis to continue to move in this direction because it'll support the length of the spine as we go up and back. Now, this is a fantastic pose. You can stay here. Hands on the hips, drop your head back. Maybe you can bring the hands on towards your heels, but you don't want to bring the hips back yet. You want to keep the hips forward as much as you can. Hold here. 1, push your feet down, belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 2, and keep bringing your hips forward like you're pushing them into a wall. 3, lift your rib cage up and back like you're going over a high bar. 4, and 5, inhale, coming back up, and exhale, just sit onto the heels and take a child's pose. Just stretch it out to counter. Breathe. Deep breaths. Okay, we're going to do a prep pose for Laghu Vajrasana. So this is a strengthener. It's a front stretch and strengthener at the same time. And it's meant to strengthen the quads so that eventually it helps you do dropbacks, or just staying in Urdhva Dhanurasana becomes a bit easier because you're used to dumping work into the legs. That's the point. So you really want to press the feet down. As you press the feet down, draw your tail forward, lift your pelvic floor. I'm going to bring the arms here on my front. And this is a reminder to keep the front of my body straight. I'm not going to bend back. I'm not going to hunch forward. I'm just going to stay straight. And I'm just going to bend the knees. That's it. I'm just going to bend the knees. Push your feet down and just bend the knees. Hold. 1, push your feet down, lift your tail up. 2, lift your belly in. 3, lifting your pelvic floor, keep your body straight. 4, and 5, and coming back up, we'll just sit back down to the heels. So that should be pretty intense work here on the front of the body. And that's the point. We're going to do that again. Okay. Coming back up. Push your feet down, lift your pelvic floor up, draw your tail forward, and arms are straight by your sides. Now from here, you start to bend the knees only. So we're bringing weight back, just bend the knees. That's 1, press your feet down, bend the knees a bit more. 2, lift your pelvic floor, belly in. 3, straight arms, breathe. 4, and 5, and inhale, coming back up. Well done. We'll just sit back onto the heels. If you want, go ahead, take a child's pose, and just breathe there for a couple of breaths. Okay, and then push into your hand, step or jump back and lower chaturanga. Full inhales, upward dog. It doesn't matter if you're off my count. It matters that you're taking full breaths. Exhale, downward dog. Gaze forward, bend the knees, come forward into a seated position. And then lie down on your backs. And we'll do just a couple back bends here. So if you want to take Urdhva Dhanurasana, you can. I'm going to start with a prep version of the pose. So we bring the feet down. And you want to bring the hips close to the feet as much as you can. When you lower down, just stretch out the arms. As you stretch out the arms, notice how your rib cage flares up. Okay, draw that rib cage down and lift your pelvic floor. So as the core engages now, the front stretch here, along the serratus and latissimus muscles, that becomes much more honest. This is compensation. This is, if you're arching the back, it means I'm tight here, so I'll dump weight somewhere else. Now we're bringing conscious energy here. So it's like you're flattening the lower spine towards the floor, lifting your tail up, lifting your pelvic floor. And you still want to rotate the armpits in towards each other. You want to find the subtle action of chopping the arms forward. So as you chop the arms up, you lift your pelvic floor and contain here. So that's what a back bend is. It really starts here. Now from here, you can just lift up the hips. You can stay here. If you want to catch your feet, go ahead, or catch your ankles, hold there. 1. Kick your hands, resist the hands back against your feet. 2, so as you kick your feet forward, hold the belly in, lift your pelvic floor. 3, push the shoulders down, reach the chest towards the wall behind you. 4, and 5, and lowering down. So that's intense work. We'll try one Urdhva Dhanurasana, and we'll take it in stages. You don't have to do the full thing. You can take it in stages and stay at whatever stage your body says it's time to stop. You stay there. So it's a similar setup where we're here, and then we start to lift up the hips. When you bring the hands towards the head, you want to favor the elbows in towards each other so they're making a nice box shape. Come up with your hands and stay here on your head. Don't come up yet. Squeeze the elbows in. Accentuate the shoulder blades going down the back so you're really opening up the chest. Favor the inner edges of your feet. Then go ahead. Straighten your arms first, then the legs. Hold. 1, Straight arms, shoulder blades go down the back. 2. And as the shoulder blades go down the back, they lift into the chest. Straighter legs. 3. Belly in, lift your pelvic floor, tail to the ceiling. 4. And 5. And lowering down, all the way down. And go ahead, bring the legs in towards your chest. Rock side to side for a second, massaging your paraspinal muscles. And then bring your hands up to the side. We're going to twist it out. Let your knees fall towards the right. And go ahead, bring your right hand on top of the left knee if you want. If you want to straighten your legs, go ahead. Gaze towards the left. Hold there. 1. Let the twist be heavy. Let your body be heavy. Don't push it here. 2. Heavy legs, heavy hips, heavy rib cage. 3. If you notice any tension in your body, send the breath there. Breathe deeper. 4. It's all going to pass. And 5. Inhale, coming back into center for 1 breath. And exhale, bring the legs towards your left. And if you want, you can bring the left hand on the right knee and gaze towards your right hand. Hold. 1. There's no perfect version of a twist. Just do whatever twist worked for you here. 2. And let your body go heavy. That's the twist comes deeper. 3. Heavy ribs, heavy hips, heavy legs. 4. Breathing into any tension that you might find along the way. And 5. Okay, bring your legs back into center. Hug your legs. And rock up to seated position. If you want to take a vinyasa, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll just take a forward bend. Go ahead, inhale, pick up. Exhale, jump back, lower, chaturanga. Inhaling upward dog and exhaling downward dog. And you take your time in that process. Just move with your breath. And as you come forward, I like to hug the legs when I come forward. That's a personal choice. Some people like to grab their feet and go right into it. Don't go deep. Just let the body relax here. And that's 1. So it's your breath and gravity that are doing the work. We're holding it for 10. 2. And if you want, you can use the hands and the pelvis. Tilt your pelvis forward. 3. And it's okay if your knees bend as you tilt the pelvis. That's okay. We just want to find relief on the lower back. 4. So as you tilt, your lower back finds length. 5. Deep breaths. 6. Find your bandhas. Belly and lift your pelvic floor. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Slowly work your way back up. And if you want to take a vinyasa, go ahead. Otherwise, take a break. Inhale, pick up, and exhale, step back towards chaturanga. Full inhales, upward dog. Full exhales, downward dog. Gaze forward, bend the knees. And we'll just come into a seated position. We'll do our 3 lotuses from here. We'll start to close. We're skipping a bunch of the closing sequence, but that's okay. We're not losing karmic points. If you can take full lotus, go ahead. Otherwise, just take a comfortable cross-legged position. If you can catch the elbows behind your back, or if you can bind your feet, go ahead, fold forward. If that's not comfortable, use the arms in front of you. Rest your head forward. Maybe you can stack your fists and put your head down on the hands like that. It's just a cross-legged fold, forward fold. That's all it is. Don't overthink it. 1, relax your head and shoulders forward and heavy. It's undoing some back bend work. 2, try to keep your hips heavy. 3, and it's okay to bring your hands in the rib cage, encourage a little bit of length forward. 4, hips down, rib cage forward, head and shoulders heavy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Slowly work your way back up. Take Chin Mudra, index fingers to the thumbs, backs of the hands to the fronts of the knees. Padmasana, lotus pose. Breathe. 1, press the legs down, hold the belly and lift your pelvic floor. Now grow tall away from the foundation of your legs. 2, straighten the fingers and arms. Shoulder blades go down back and they lift up into the chest. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Lift the gaze, release the mudra, prepare for Plitihi. It's a lift, so if you want to bring in some books or blocks to help you lift up, go ahead. It's okay if you just lift up your hips and you keep your feet down. That's fine too, it still works. Wherever you are, try to bring the knees up towards your chest, hands in front of you, lean the weight forward. Inhale, lift up, hold there. 1, lift your knees up. 2, lift the thighs to your stomach. 3, push the floor away like it's hot. 4, shorten your waist, lift the tail up. 5, knees up. 6, straight arms. 7, relax your face, knees up. 8, I think I missed one, but that's okay. 9, and 10, and lower down. And we'll take one last vinyasa. Just step your hands forward, step your feet back, and lower to chaturanga. Full inhales every time. It doesn't matter if you're off my count. Take your time, take a few extra breaths. It's fine. Whenever you're ready, go ahead, move into downward dog just to stretch out the back side of your body. And then gaze forward, come forward to a seated position. And take rest. So if you want to bring a book as a pillow, it'll help you stretch out the back of your neck, which is a very good thing because we tend to compress our neck. So I like to bring the hands underneath the head, squeeze the elbows in, so the shoulder blades come away from the spine when you do that. Lift your head up, draw the chin towards your chest, and allow the lower neck to lengthen as you bring the head down. If you want to start lifting up your hips and bring the hands into cactus, so you find the shoulder blades on the floor, then straighten out your arms, and then lower your hips down. And you keep drawing the tail towards the end of the mat, working your legs straight. And we'll just hold here for about a minute, allowing your body to relax completely. Let your body sink into the floor with every exhalation. Your body should feel like a stone sinking into the middle of a pond. Every time you exhale, your body sinks deeper into that pond. Moving deeper and deeper into a state of relaxation. And as you allow your body to sink, we'll just stay here for about a minute in silence.
Bringing the awareness back to your breath. Start taking deeper breaths. Bringing the awareness back into your body. Start moving fingers and toes, rotating your wrists and ankles. Slowly bring your legs back together, the arms up behind the head. Inhale, coming into a stretch, and exhale, just letting it go. Bending your knees, rolling onto your right side. And push into your left hand, come up to a comfortable seated position. Namaste. Thanks for joining me this morning. Well, it's morning over here anyhow. I know it's nighttime for Julie in Indonesia, and it's very early for Pat over in British Columbia. If anyone has any questions, that's totally fine. Thanks for coming. I'm actually taking next week off, so I'm not going to be teaching on Sunday or Thursday next week. There's a lot of personal stuff that I'm working on, and maybe you'll hear about it soon enough on social media. But then I am back on the 17th, and that's for a workshop. The workshop is similar to what we did, only with some props and some extra intensity. And it's a backbending workshop. And if you do have props, that's great. So I'll be showing you stuff with props, but you can use alternatives. That's fine. I hope you're able to catch up with some of my classes on YouTube, even though I'm not going to be live next week. That's okay, just so I can focus on personal stuff, which you'll hear about soon enough. And then, yeah, hopefully you're able to make the workshop. The workshop is $15. You just e-transfer me. It's going to be a Zoom class, so it won't be a closed class, and there's no class on that Sunday morning either. It's just going to be the workshop for the day, and it's a 2-hour workshop from 10 to 12 my time. If you have questions, feel free. Otherwise, thanks for joining me today. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Mangia. Thanks, Julie. You guys take care.